Hiya, it's Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and today we're going to be making a spring stroke summer style card using this gorgeous printed hunky-dory cardstock. Now, I had a number of these sheets that actually my mum got from a charity shop. They were brand new, but they had all these lovely sort of scenes on them. Now, obviously this is quite a specific design, so if you haven't got something like that, it's very easy, I'm sure, to find something that you could print out to make something similar, and it would give you the same kind of effect. So all I've done here is it's an A4 piece of cardstock with the pattern on, and it has like the name of it is the extra part, so I just chopped that bit off. Then I've got a white A4 card base, and I'm using some wet glue because the hunky-dory is quite a thick cardstock, so you want enough strength to hold that on the front. Now, you could of course just fold the hunky-dory in half, but I felt that was quite wasting a nice pattern, so I decided to stick it on the front of another card. Now, I tend with A4, again, it's a strange sizing and it's quite difficult to get the halfway point and cut it first, so I tend to stick it down and then cut it afterwards. Now, with wet glue, I like to, you don't always see me do this part, but I like to just use the roller and just roll that out, because while it's still wet, it kind of squidges the glue out underneath, so you get a much more even stick. And also, if you don't want to take your wet glue right to the edges when you're applying it, because it would squelch out, but by just using the roller, it just makes sure that the edges are actually stuck down, because it just squishes the glue out a little bit to those edges. And then obviously just here using a pair of scissors to cut the excess off. Now, I use scissors, not the guillotine, because I personally find that it actually gets a better cut. You're more likely to get it absolutely accurate, whereas the guillotine tends to, if you're not careful, you can slightly be off and not always get it right. Now, if you're better at using that than I am, then great, go for it, use that, no problem. Now, these little they're kind of they're not acrylic, but I can't think of the name of it, but they're like a harder material. I can't think of the name, what they're called, but anyway, I'm sure you know what I mean. And they're like these little pieces that I'd had them in my stash for ages. Again, I don't particularly know the name of them. They were just in a packet, and it really was a case of just using bits and pieces that I had to create a really nice card. I hope you like it anyway. So I thought it was nice having that little bench, and then we had the lovely bird bath, but I thought it'd be nice to have effectively what would look like greenery around the bottom of the bird bath. So I found like a green flower, and I'm using my hot glue gun here. Now, I am not the best with the hot glue gun. I always end up burning myself. Now, you don't see it here, but later on I do actually burn my finger. It's almost without exception I managed to do that. So just be careful that you don't burn yourself. And you don't need to put a lot on, you don't need to cover it a load, you just need enough so that it will stay stuck. Hot glue is really, really strong, so it is very effective, and the good thing is it dries really quickly. The bad thing is it also dries really, really quickly, so if you don't get it in the right place, you are going to be stuffed basically, because it's almost instant drying. As you see here, I'm just trying really hard just to straighten it that last little bit, and I managed to do it, and there was just a tiny bit of the hot glue squelched to the side. The other good thing about the hot glue is that when it does dry, if you have got any excess, it will come away. It tends to roll away, like and you'll also find quite often sort of almost like cobwebby bits that come across from it. Again, just at the end, use a little brush or your hand just to wipe that off, but personally wait till it's like dry enough that you can pull it away. Obviously, if there's some that are just literally floating around, grab them, but just be careful. Like there, you can see I'm just pulling some away because it was stuck to my hand. And I just find, especially for pieces like this that are a lot thicker, a lot heavier, it's really effective because it's just so much stronger, and it will hold them down for years and years to come. So cards like this people tend to keep because they're kind of special, and so you want it to stay put for as long, for a long time. You don't want it to fall off after 6 months or something. So I then thought it would be nice to put some little flowery bits around the bottom of the bird bath. So again, here I'm just using the hot glue. Originally I put a blob of the hot glue down onto the card, but the next one I decided, in order to position it correctly, I really needed it on the actual flower, so I need to be careful because I will burn myself, as I nearly did there. And then just pop it in. The good thing about doing it like that is you can see there, hopefully, that I slightly angled the flower, and it means you don't have to put it down completely straight. You can angle it and make it have a quite realistic look. Now this next bit frankly looks horrible, but I think it looks great at the end. So at this point I thought, you know, I knew where I was going, but I could see that it was going to look really awful. I've got two colours of sequins, and I'm trying to create like a water effect in the bird bath. Now I'm putting the sequins above the sort of actual well of the bird bath. I mean, obviously the water really wouldn't be up that high, but it's just to give an effect. And I've got like a bluey colour sequin and a kind of aqua, well, not even turquoise, it really is a sort of aqua green sequin. And I'm just mixing the two up, just really randomly, just almost popping them on any old how. And just to, as I say, create that water effect. Now here I needed a little bit more hot glue because I had a couple more, and I'm just using my tool there because they are metal. The sequins obviously have a metal to them, and I find that they tend to get quite warm once you put them on the hot glue, so it sort of builds up, and after a while your fingers get a little bit sore. So especially with my history with hot glue, I'm always a little bit more cautious. So then part of the bird bath set, the I think it's like polymer or something, I think they call it. I think that's right. There was these little birds as well. There was 3 little birds. So I wanted one on the bird bath, and then sort of one sort of flying down to land on the chair bench thing. And then I thought, no, let's have one on the actual bench as well, and just one on the bird bath. I thought that looked better. So again, just fiddling around with them till I liked what I liked what I saw. Oh gosh, I can't speak today. And then again, just using the hot glue gun. And on this occasion, because they're quite small, and I thought I'd just pop that onto the actual card. I know where it's going to go, so it's easy to do. It's not like with the flowers where I wanted to angle them or anything. These are going flat down. Now I believe, but I don't know, but I believe you can colour these with inks and pens and things, but you might want to test that out beforehand if you do want to colour it. I really liked it because there was so much colour in the background. I felt that it really showed up nicely against the background and just looked quite effective anyway, so I liked it as it was, so I didn't even try. Now this is where I think it made a difference to our bird bath. Again, I think you'll see it more as it sort of dries off a bit, but I use this lovely blue, sort of pale blue stickles, and I filled up that sort of well where the water would be with the stickles, and I also went over the sequins just to kind of blend the sequins in with the water and just create that kind of bubbly, glistening effect. And I just felt it looked really effective. I really liked it. You might think you just want to use the stickles or put the sequins further into the actual bird bath, but you know, whatever you like it. It was just how I went for it. Now I thought this was for somebody who was Christian, so I thought it would be nice to add this little cross in the corner, and it's metal, so again, just be really careful with your hot glue. Sorry, it's sort of gone off a bit off camera there, but basically I'm just putting a blob of hot glue at the top where there's the little hole that is the top of the cross. It's meant to be like where you can hang it if you want to, and I just had created myself a little bow using twine, and I just stuck that down using the hot glue. Then I had these little, I've had these again in my stash. It's just I've got these little pots with random things in, and these were part of, I guess, some sort of set that I had that was sort of a collection of sort of buttons and whatnots, and I have these clouds, and I just thought that was kind of cute. Again, I just thought it worked. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of added a sweet little element to it. And then I had this sentiment. This is a hunky-dory. I've got a pack of loads of hunky-dory sheets of sentiments that I just keep that are really helpful to use. I've just got, I think they sold them at one point as a whole packs, and so I had those, and I just found one that went sort of with the silver again around the edges, and then it had its actual sentiment, and I just again thought that looked really nice. But I then felt that it needed something around the bench because it just felt a bit bland compared to everything that was going on with the bird bath. It didn't feel quite in balance. You'll also notice that there's also now the leg on the front back, as it were, of the bench, underneath the bird that's sitting on the bench. I hadn't realised that that leg had actually snapped off, and so I just picked that back off this little collection that I had and added that to the card. And I don't think you can really tell that it's a problem. It looks perfectly fine. Then I decided, as always, that you've got so much going on the front that it really needed something happening on the inside. So I just thought, well, why not? Let's put the other part of the card on the inside. Again, I'm using the wet glue. However, you do want to watch before you close it to make sure that any glue that has leaked is completely gone, because otherwise you will end up sticking your card together. How do I know? Done that before, that's how. So just make sure. And then the other thing was that I closed the card, because sometimes, because of the fold, even though it's exactly half, it sort of pushes the card out a little bit, and so it sticks out, so you need to just trim it on that outside edge. But as it happens, that worked fine. And then I decided, I was looking at it and I just thought, we've got the rounds, and we've got the sort of roundy shapes of the flowers, the roundy shape around the little clouds and the bird bath, and I just felt that putting those corners just added a nice finishing touch to the card. So that is our card for today, and I thought it came out really, really nicely. I like the 3D effect. It's being hand delivered, so it's no big deal. So if you've enjoyed watching making this card, I'd love to hear from you, and as always, please leave a comment and subscribe and like and all that good stuff. Also, just while I remembered that there's always a blog post with all of these videos, that you'll find a lot of photos, etc. So if you want to look at that, there's a link in the description below. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.